Hello, and nice evening, everybody. How are you? Fine. Hope you're well. And that you can hear me better right now. That also helps a lot, I guess. Let's see. I am still sitting up a little bit. Was a little bit slow this today. Let's see. Stupid mic, stay in place, please. I hope everything is all right and that you can hear and see me well. And if not, please let me know in the chat. For me, this evening is especially well because the Dutch team just went against Romania, so that's always a win and a good thing, I guess. See if this works. I don't know how restream works. I still need to get used to some things of multi-streaming, but yeah, it's fine. So for the past couple of live streams, I've been busy with creating a job listing page, and it didn't go as expected. Last time we went, we were using Crocoblocks, and it didn't go very well because the design changes when we used smart filters. And I have been in contact with the Crocoblock team, and I've also been in contact with the Greenshift team to see if we can fix the issue. And as it turns out, the issue isn't fixable because of the lack of support of FSE, which in my opinion is a little bit contradictory to what they are saying on their website. So if we go to Crocoblock and look into products, these two are the ones that I'm using. I'm using smart filters and JetEngine. If we look into smart filters, I don't know if you can see my screens. Yes, it is sharing my screen. You will see that Gutenberg is supported. And yes, technically, Gutenberg is supported when using smart filters because it works with JetEngine. And JetEngine works in Gutenberg because they have dynamic blocks. The only thing is that when you use JetEngine and Jet Smart filters together, you get a issue because the theme you have is very important. You need to use a supported theme like Keva or Bloxy, which all are no block themes. So yes, and the smart filters. So then you get an issue. So you need to use a classic theme, which I don't like. Then you have the next issue is that you probably you can't use Jet Smart filters for the WordPress core query loop, which is a very shame. Which also I think is a little bit misleading that it says that Gutenberg is supported while the default, the one query loop that is in WordPress system in the dashboard by default, it isn't supported by Jet filters, and I feel a little bit enticed for something that isn't fully functional with Gutenberg. So if you would like to use smart filters for solely the Gutenberg editor, because the query looping is very easy, it just doesn't work. And that's the reason why I want to look into Bricks. Because I've used Elementor in the past, I know how it works, and when I see something shiny, like Bricks, I want to try it out. And in the past, I've been working as a front-end developer, and using classes is just the way you should style your website. And the editor makes it very easy to do it in a visual way. You can drag and drop things, you can change colors, you can do everything differently than by default you actually should do during your during development. So it's a little bit strange to see that. Sorry, I see my own face and I get distracted immediately. So let's put it away and put this away. So that's better. So I want to not look at Elementor because I know how it works, and some things are a little bit difficult. For instance, when you try to reuse something. But I'm still using Elementor for some sites, and I want to see how Bricks compares to something like Elementor, and especially something like GreenShift. Is it something I can work with, or isn't it? And how would it feel? So that's what I would like to dive in today. So, you know, I have experience in the past. I've also experience with developing websites, although it's usually business to business for what I've been creating and not business to consumer, which makes some rules a little bit different because it's business to business applications. I've also been working as a UX designer, and currently I'm also part of the marketing team to make sure that the commercial site is at least working, and that one is running on Elementor. So now you know a little bit of a background about me and why I want to take a look at Bricks. Because for the job listing website we were working on, that was this one, we have Crocoblocks installed, we have careers, and we have some taxonomies for that one available as well. And if we're going to look into the editor, we can see that when it loads, this is local, but I don't know why it's very slow on some way or form. If you have some tips how I can speed this up, please share it with me, because I'm getting insanely boring with this. Hey, good evening, Joan. How are you doing this fine evening? I hope you're doing well. And like I said earlier, this stream, I'm doing very well because the Netherlands just won from Romania with 0-3. So that's nice. So this is the archive page I want to use, and here I want to use the smart filters as well. Now there are some other options you can use with GreenShift, but that just doesn't work. So that's why we're going to try out with Bricks, see if that works. And if we are talking about Bricks, one of the main reasons why I wanted to try out Bricks as well is because of GutenBricks. Now, what is GutenBricks? GutenBricks is a way to separate the marketeer kind of things that they can drag and drop some certain patterns in the website, and then you have a style within Bricks, and they can use Gutenberg to make changes to the text, and this makes it very easy to use. You didn't miss anything yet, Teet. I'm just starting out, and welcome this fine evening. Nice of you to join. Got it for lifetime. That's nice. I also got it for lifetime, and I just want to try out and use a little bit my GreenShift Elementor brain, especially my Elementor brain, to see how things compare, because the interface looks similar to Elementor. So I hope the experience is a little bit the same. I have seen some videos, so I do have experience a little bit, but let's see. And I was talking about GutenBricks. GutenBricks is a tool that allows a novice user or your marketeers to work in the Gutenberg editor with styles that are made with Bricks. So you get the flexibility of Bricks, but you get restrictness in Gutenberg, which is a little bit like pattern overrides that will be released in 6.6. Only it is available right now, and the advantage is that you have way more capabilities than the overrides itself, from what I've seen so far. Yeah, we'll be using Jet plugins and Bricks in the end, but today I just want to focus on Bricks. If you want to buy GutenBricks, I highly recommend doing it soon, because the price will go up after the launch of the new website, and then the LTD will quite possibly be gone as well. Now, I do recommend paying the $49 first to see if it is something you would like to use, and if not, you can it's just $49 and you get a 40-day money back guaranteed. and else you pay $1.99 and you have unlimited sites and everything for every time. And this is one of the main reasons why I bought Bricks, because I thought this is what is missing in every editor at the moment. You get full access to everything, and it sometimes just doesn't work. People can easily break things. They can make things look ugly. And that's what, as a designer, but also as a developer, you want to try to make users beware of. So this is a very good solution. If you haven't already, you can buy it. There will also be a very nice live stream after this live stream with Brandon, Mark, and Elementor and Ryan Lee. And Ryan Lee is the creator of GutenBricks. So definitely watch this video after my live stream. It will be online at 10 p.m. CAT, so that's European Standard Time. Take a look at it and see if you like what you see. I'm also going to take a look at it, but I know that GutenBricks is just awesome. They also have a Facebook group. If you would like to join, there's a guy called Kees Koenen. He's already, he's a Dutch guy, by the way, that's why I can pronounce his name pretty well. And he has made a lot of things with GutenBricks, and that just looks awesome. Yeah, I will write his name in the chat, and then you can see if it's something you would like to see. You can make your own patterns for editor and hide templates part of them. Yep, that's very much true. And they don't have to work in Bricks as well. So that's very good and that's very nice. Ooh, I have some messages. I'm going to take a look at those later on. I'm now going to work with Bricks. So this is the site that I've set up to just try it out and test it out, and hopefully everything goes fine. For me, this is a very shiny new thing, but I know it's been released, I remember correctly, like 3 years ago. That's nice, I guess, and there's some credibility and some people behind it for really supporting it. If you look on YouTube, two of the biggest names is, of course, Kevin Geary. You haven't heard of it. He's very opinionated, but he has some good points as well. He's not as experienced as I am with creating websites. No, I'm kidding, Kevin. If you're watching this, you're a champ, not a chomp. And WP Tots is also a very good one on YouTube for your bricks tutorials, but he also does some other things as well. So yeah, take a look at their videos and tutorials if you're new to bricks like me. But if you would like to see from a Elementor point of view, let's just experience it. Let's see how it compares. Here's my YouTube feed, by the way. I'm very curious what's in there. So this is Kevin Geary. This is about the collapse of Facebook ads. Oh, here's Ryan Lee already. Nice. Some WordPress, something about YouTube channels. So at least you know what I get suggested. I also think this guy is very funny and very good with development content. Recommend to see look at him. But yeah, bricks. So this is bricks, as you can see, and what does it say? Bricks gives me an almost Webflow-like experience with WordPress. That's a very nice quote, by the way. It just works for me, so that's nice. And we're going to dive right in. So let's see. This is a fresh install. Jet plugins tutorials as well from Paul. Oh yeah, that's also a very good one. Yeah, I've also seen that there are very good tutorials on Crocoblock's channel as well, especially for the specific things I'm looking for. I want people to be able to filter post types on the distance from them, so a relative distance. So they can see only things that are important to them, and not get bothered with anything that isn't important. And that should be easy. I couldn't find anything besides JetEngine that works well with this. Because they have map listings and you can filter them on distance like 5 kilometers away from you. At least that's the metrics we use. Let's see. I also would like to have some music because it can get very quiet at times. Let's see. We like to use Creator Mix. I can put this one up here as well. Then you can see what I'm typing. There we have Creator Mix. And this is music you can use for free on your live streams if you didn't know. So anybody watching this doing live streams as well, highly recommend. Let's put on some chill music. There we go. And away we go. Save components already. Yeah. I thought it as well. I'm just still getting used to JetEngine, so I don't know anything about them. I just want to get first used to using bricks. So let's get started. I assume that we can create pages. So to verify this is a new installment, I just deleted these two plugins. This one is by default installed. And if we go to appearance themes, here we have bricks. Now some people would like to have child themes, but I don't see any benefit for me using child themes in this point in time, just to figure out how bricks works. So let's get to it. We'll be adding a new page. And the page will be titled Job Opportunities. Opportune. So sometimes my writing in English is horrible. And let's publish it, because why the frick not? I see that there's a setting that isn't set properly, so let's change that real quick. In permalinks we need to change from plain to I always like to use category post name changes. And usually that works. Job opportunities, so let's edit with bricks and dive right in. It isn't found anymore. Nice. Edit with bricks. Damn it. What's this? This is because of the perma settings, isn't it? Usually you don't have to change anything. Careers. This doesn't work then. Envelop post. Alright, I'm not going to bother this with this live stream. Let's just quickly set this back, because this is just a dev environment. Don't wanna. There we go. There's bricks. And here we have bricks. We have some layout options like section, container, and div. I suppose we can drag and drop it in there. No, do we have to click it? Yes, you have to click it. And then I see that there's a section and a container. That's also what I'm used to with Elementor as well. I see that I have my structure on the right hand side and some things on the left hand side. And we can set some stylings. Kind of default are in here. We have orange. Nice. And can we click it again to reset? No, it doesn't. Oh, you have to click it there. Would be nice to also have the option in here, but this works as well. It works actually very fine. You immediately see where a setting is changed instead of having to find the right place for it. So that's nice. Let's have a look at the... We have 7 people in here, so I will say hi, 7 people watching this live stream. It's nice of you to join. So in here we have a heading. So let's throw in a heading. Now I want it in my container. Why doesn't it go inside my container? Do I have to drag it from here? A little bit weird of experience. This needs to be H1. This is the title. Let's just add inside title. Now this is not how it should be. If I follow Kevin Geary's stuff, then I know it should be different. Variables. There are no variables available. Now, what are... Whoa. What's this for kind of screen? You have classes and variables you can manage. There are no variables set right now. Alright. Select one or multiple categories to filter. So what are variables? For those who don't know what variables are ways to save pieces of information in a file that can be reused throughout the Bricks interface. This can also be done in GreensHift as well, and it makes it very easy to reuse certain kind of values. For instance, if you would like your padding from the top and bottom to be the same, like 1 rem or 16 pixels, you can just set it in a var system, and or in vars in this case, and then it will be saved and you can reuse the value everywhere. So if we add like padding, I wouldn't suggest to use padding as naming, but you can use space or spacing if you would like to, because you're setting a white space or spacing. So let's just pretend it's a white space of 1 rem, and you can just set it usually in t-shirt sizes, in number sizes. You can also use the values you are going to use, like 1, 16 pixels or whatever. T-shirt sizes is the one that's used most. You can set 1 rem as a value, and I don't see a very clear saving button. I assume that it's this floppy disk. If you're as old as me, then you know that's a floppy disk and you can use it. It would be nice if you put in some information in the tasks bar, that you see the save button highlight, that you know that you can save or create something. And then we create, and there we have the spacing. So now everywhere where I use space M, this value will be used. This makes it more maintainable and manageable. So if we go to content and then layout, I guess, yes, there we have it. And the variables that we have are space, and it will add a tiny little space in here, as you can see. And that's actually pretty nice. So it's nice that the variable system is working. What does switch do? Now you can see, oh, this is more visual, if you ask me, than this one. I like this. But here you can see more text. It's, I don't know, you can also collapse this. Ooh, just like Elementor. But then this side doesn't go away, so that's a shame. We can also resize the panel. It doesn't do like Elementor, add more columns in here, so that's something I am missing. If we go to style and we have layout, typography, and let's see, we can change the font size, maybe the 24 pixels. You can just type it in there. If you say 24, what unit of measurement will be used? I don't know. We can align the text, but it doesn't do anything. There a hidden wrapper in the heading. Use camel, capitalize, upper, lower, or none. You can change the font family. It automatically shows the Google font, so that's nice. It would also be nice if you can see a example in there as well. Can it? Geary uses automatic CSS. Yes, I understand that Geary uses automatic CSS because it's his own product, right? If he doesn't use it, I would be very, very afraid. So practice what you preach. If you sell something you believe in, you need to show it every time you build a website that you're using it. I've also been looking into Elementor CSS, by the way. And I like the idea that you have some presets already available. So if you would like to speed up your web design and don't think, it's very opinionated, but I think opinionated in a good way. Now, it's been a long time since I work on commercial websites, but from what I've read and heard from from Kevin himself, I think it's a really good thing. The stream has some people responding, doesn't, so that will be fine. I'm also looking at Core Framework to power up my default settings, so to speak. Also purchased the $99 Bricks add-on, because it's gone up in price, because it's unlimited use, and it also works with Gutenberg. I don't know if ACSS also works with Gutenberg, but if it doesn't, I would be more leaning to Core Framework, because then I can use it on every application. So if you, for example, in the future would like to go to something like Greenshift, because it's also very powerful, you can do that with the same classes. It's also, I want to explore if it's also workable with something like Spectra or Cadence, and see how that works. If it all works as I expect it to be, then Core Framework will definitely be something to use, but that's for another live stream. So Elementor CSS and Core Framework would be something I would like to look into, but now we're just exploring how this works. I don't see anything happening to my text alignment, so that's a little bit weird. Do I want to shut down my... No, I don't want to shut down. We can change 700. What's 700? The font weight would be nice. That is more clear that it's about the font weight, but it could be just me. And here's italics, font style. Here it is saying font style, and here it doesn't say font weight. All right, font variations. What can I set in here? I don't know. Line height and letter spacing. So those are just the common things. Oh, nice. We have access to our text shadow as well. It's a shame that we can't put in multiple ones. But hey, you can't have anything. This looks nice. Awesome. Old school effect. We can remove everything. I can't remove those two, I see. So now this one is set. Oh, and then you remove all of them. Alright. Text decorations. Background. You can set a dynamic data. So I assume this dynamic data is for the image. You have some noise again. Thank you for telling me, Teed Bagman. I hope this fixes it. I've had it one time earlier, and I don't know if this is because of the mic or the interface I'm just getting used to using. If it's still there, please let me know. Thank you very much for sharing. We can set our text backgrounds. That's pretty. So let's see. I usually think the delete button doesn't work. So how do I delete this? Delete. There's no fast way to delete this. This is weird. But it is what it is. So let's create a very default hero section. Usually you have two containers. You have an image in a container, and I think that the image doesn't need to be in a container. Can be just besides. No image selected, so weird placeholder, but is what it is. Where can I set an image? We have layout options, but this isn't the layout. Attributes, CSS. You can add CSS in there. Oh, you need to be in content, of course. I didn't know. Ah, so it sticks in a tab. I'm not used to that. Elementor never does that. Let's get a image from on slash. What's a nice image? Ooh, these are nice images. I like mountains. It's good for the vibe we have right now. And does reflect our job and opportunity as well, right? We want to have the opportunity to go in the mountains. I wouldn't recommend to do this on your live environment, by the way. This is a very big image. And at least the size is not that big, if you ask me. But the image will be very big for the section we're going to use it. I would suggest to scale it down. And one of the ways is using Photoshop. And if you don't have Photoshop, you can use something like Photopea to drag it in and make it as big or small as possible. Yes, here you have all my data. If I need multiple containers, etc., I use right click in the navigator and duplicate. That's a very good tip. And in here we can crop our image, so we can make it smaller. You also have some other settings as well. So if you don't have Photoshop, this is a very easy tool to use, just to adjust the image a little. It also looks a lot like Photoshop, if you ask me. So they did a well job. So you do duplicate. It is Ctrl-Shift-D, so does also Ctrl-Shift-Z work, or Ctrl-Alt-Z, yes, for deleting. It doesn't show anything, right? That's weird. And I want this section to have a horizontal direction. There we go. Photopea, yes. I can share it. Such an easy and great free tool. So there it is. We can add a heading in here, and I want to have much text. This is a very weird experience for me. Starts blinking. Then we add a button in there. Ooh, it's yellow. Where can we have a primary style? That's awesome. Now where can I change the default style? You have something like site settings as well in Elementor. So where can I find it in here? We have templates. I don't have any templates. We have settings, theme styles. We don't have any theme style. Create a new one. Create one. And let's set this to default and hit create. And there we have something. And here we have button. And I want the background to be purple. Doesn't change. So we set it. Ah, this is a nice experience. So this is just like Elementor, only it's a little bit hidden and it's not turned on by default, which I would love to have. And then you can have select themes. So you can have a theme in your theme. And this is nice, actually. Use gap for container. I don't know how. You have pricing table. You can set everything in here, and that's nice. Then you can have default things in a way that works. And you can change it later on if you would like to, I guess. Preview mode, we have save. Structure. Oh, you can hide the structure as well, so that's nice. Now I would like to have some spacing between all of them. I want this one to be H1. I want my default to be always H2. So I think we can go into the themes and then into our heading. Here we can set the default tag. It should be H2 always, if you ask me. In editor, not in global settings. Yeah. So I guess this is this one, right? Page settings. Oh, you can also set classes for your pages as well. Oh, that's nice. You can disable lazy load. So it's on by default, I guess. So this image is now lazy loaded without me doing anything. Nice. Install the lightbox as well. We have a scroll snap. For those who don't know what scroll snap is, it's the snapping of a section within the browser. If you scroll down, or if you do a mouse scroll effect, you can have one page navigation. There's also already a search engine optimization kind of thing. That's nice. Keywords, robots. You can set your default robots, keywords, description. So these are very basic. But it does work. Usually you would like to have more like schema options as well. But yeah, it's already a lot more than Elementor gives you, let's be honest. And even gives you social media kind of things when you're sharing, and you have custom code as well. But you need to find your custom code in your settings. Alright. So it's good to know where to find something. And I think this will be the default. So setting this up in a like blueprint in a default website is something you need to take into mind how you can set things up. But yeah, it's nice that it's there. Now I would like to add some spacing between those items. And we can go into margin bottom, and we have our variable in there. So we can add another variable. So now we don't have to type in every time that needs to be one REM. We can still do that. Type in one REM. It's a shame that you don't see the metrics available to you. The reason why is if I am new to this and I don't understand how this works, but I do know some of the metrics and the ones that I would like to use, then I need to manually type them every time. So can you set a default unit of measurement? Variables is also a very way to do so. Now let me show you the advantage of using variables. Now if we want to change the variable, we want all the spacing to change from 1 REM to 1.5, and we hit save. Now we have 1.5 spacing. Let's exaggerate this example a little bit when we hit save. Now there's a lot of spacing, you see that? Here's 5 rem and there's 5 rem. And this is easy if you use it throughout the whole website, so it's very nice that it's in there already. Amazing, I like the green pop-ups as well, by the way. So there's some default padding in there already. And I guess these are pixels. So, and this is a setting that is used most commonly in design as well, using twice the padding on the left and right side compared to the top and bottom one. So the default sizing is pretty good actually. Hey brother, how are you doing? So last week we looked at the filter system, and I got back and forth with the support, but it didn't work with GreensHift. So we're now looking into a new kind of builder, something that looks similar to Elementor, and it's called Bricks. It's also what I would like to use for the dog school our parents have. So take a look at it to see how this works. Let's see. For all of you who don't know, this is the name of my little brother, Boutsack. Then very nice wordplay in Dutch. Let's see. We go to. I would like to add some spacing, and we had it in margin, but I know that there's a possibility to have a row or a gap. Where do we set it? Oh, here we have a gap. We set a gap to, yes, there we go. So that's easy. Now everything has the same gap, and we don't have to change anything. And if we add another thing in there, no, now it's quite better. We have a text link with the same amount of cut used. How do you Z? You can't delete it with a shortcut. How do you delete this freaking thing? Oh, Control delete? Control delete. Yes, Control delete. You can delete. Would be nice that the shortcut is available. But here we have our hero section. We can make the image a little bit smaller. And so interested to see the alternative. Yes, I understand. I'm now also trying to understand this from a Elementor brain, as I called it, to see how this compares. That's it runs in the family, right? Having wordplays. But to be fair, I'm not as sharp as I used to be. I like wordplays, but then I got an arrow to the knee, or a girlfriend that doesn't like wordplays as much as I did. Let's see. Now, if we save and we preview this, I'm very curious how it shows on the front end. And it shows actually pretty nicely. Oh, we can preview in Builder. How do you preview it on the website? View on front end. Now it does look different, but that's fine. If we zoom out. So there's the difference from putting something in the container and outside of the container. In the container, it will be contained also within the bounding box of your body. And the image is now outside. It would work well if this is 100% in usage, right? I got rusty too. It's what happens, right? Maybe it's more of an age kind of thing, I guess. So we need to add a container in here. So we can just drag it in there, put the image in there, and now it's all contained within the container, but also within our bounding box. So, but it's not. So how does this work? Is the div set in a different kind of way? Different. You get it. If we're talking about wordplays. Let's go to layout and we have a width. I don't know which width it will be. Does that mean that it's always 100% width, or are you with me? Age might be a factor. Most definitely. Let's see. General site, I want it to be boxed. What is the boxed maximum width? It will be 1000 pixels. Let's translate 1500 pixels. I'll need to work with that one. But I don't know the RAM value. So let's put it in there. I'm still trying to get used to the RAM value. 1000, so the high number. Or PM. Wrap in block is also possible for element in navigator right click. Wrap in block. No, wrap in block. Nice. And then you can choose a container or a div. And I guess block is always a container, right? Set to 100 view width. Ah. Thank you, Teet, for explaining. Oh, so now this section. But I want the main section to be as lengthy as needed. But my contents needs to be smaller. So, content, container. Oh, here we have 1100 pixels for our container set as a default value. But how does this work? Do we need to put it in our container? And then put a container in there as well? Does this have any like width set by default? Take my man helping out. Thank you so much. This just looks weird right now. What the hell? Oh yeah, because this div is empty. Should we have control delete? Just duplicate this. Then if we control delete, the way of deleting this. If I select this container and I want to change the styling, where can I copy styles, insert, save? Pages, template settings. Where is my sidebar? Oh yeah, I pressed the icon. So for this container, I want to be 50%. So we have a section. And the section have a direction to the right. Now it doesn't need any spacing if you ask me. Or it did actually, right? This one doesn't need to be there. Section, row gap, space. I really don't get it. It feels like the right hand side is much smaller. Let's put in some libsym text, right? Does it go to the end of the screen or doesn't it? We hit save right now. Oh, it does. So it's 100%. So that means I need a container inside of my container to contain it. And this is not what I'm used to using Elementor, by the way. So this one is 100%. And the inner width can be in there. The container needs to be inside the container, and this container will have a defined width in style, and we set it as a max width. But I don't know my default value. 62 RAM, and I want those two to be side by side. We can set a direction for horizontal, and this needs to be 50% of the way. If you ask me, it's a lot of more filing unit of measurement, so now it's 50% percentage. And then we have another container containing the rest of the hero section. I can just remove this part. Fine. It doesn't feel like this is 1500, right? 52 RAM. That's the image. Div. It's nice that it's automatically aligned in the center, by the way. Margin align auto. And here, watch the width. It's 620 pixels. Why is this 620? I thought 62 RAM was equal to 1500 pixels. You can also set it as a hard code, so it's fine. So there's our, this feels more like 1500 pixels RAM. There's some extra spacing going on here. And some info for container in Messenger. Ah, thank you. I will have a look into that after this live stream. And it's not self-align, it is the align main axis cross. I want my contents to align in center, so not self-align. So we call it align cross axis, align items. Ah, there it is, and justify. So they gave it a slightly different name from CSS. But it's fine. Bricks is easy. Yeah, I think so. I'm getting now into understanding the basic stuff. And I know this isn't the class first workflow they would like to promote, so that's why I said this will make Kevin cringe, because it's all done on ideal level, what I've done right now. Except for the buttons, because that can be side-wide styled in theme settings, which should be there, right? At least that's what I'm used to when working with customizable CSS, or the ones that I'm creating myself, is that I set a default styling, and if I want to change it on specific places, I change it on specific places. Text half sentence. You're welcome, brother. The amount of times I say that to the developer that it doesn't align and it looks ugly, it's a lot. And they hate me for it. But then they say, well, you're a designer. And then I correct them on some mistakes they make in CSS whatsoever. It's always fun. I use grid mostly, not Flexbox. Yeah, I can see that. Sometimes Flexbox works well, and other times grid works very well. I like grid way more, especially with auto layouts. But I just want to play around with Flex for this this time. We have some spacing that we can use. I like the easy way of adding the variables. It's very visible compared to GreenShift, where you have just a little bit of an arrow somewhere that you need to press perfectly, else you won't be able to access the variables. I think this is very more visible and use. You're welcome, brother. Love to help. So here we have an hero section. Now, can we get this one to have an aspect ratio of 4:3? Yes, we can. And we want to have it contain, no, cover. And then the position should be 50-50, I guess. And the first value will be the vertical, and the second value will be horizontal, I guess. So if we move this one to 30, 20, 10, I guess it doesn't work like that. Ah, so it's the other way around. Oh, I do think we will have an issue when scaling. Oh, that looks perfect in every scale, every size. So now we have made our first ugly section and explored a little bit of bricks and how it works. You have way more options, to be fair, than Elementor. Even Elementor doesn't come even close in the slightest with the amount of options you have in bricks. So it can be very overwhelming if you're just starting out. I like that you have the difference in a tab from content and style. In style, you can change the styling of the section, the layout, spacing, but also the sizing, positioning. I really like how they separated everything, and it's very visible where everything is. You also have a display option. Even GreenShift lacks that one, and this is one of the basic things you need. So it's awesome. You can change visibility. You have all the options in here. That's so nice. That's awesome. Now I am missing some animations in there. So let's see if we can add some animations in there real quick. Now here you have your custom CSS, so that's nice. If you transform, but that's not animate, right? No, it's just transform. If your gradient, border, background. I don't see any animations in here by default, and that's why I like GreenShift as well. I do know there's an alternative called bricksforge.io that adds animations in there from GSAP, and it's the same as the animation add-on from GreenShift, only this offers way more other things as well, like forms and all these kind of things. But by default, Bricks looks easy to use. You can create many of those websites. You would also be able to use an Elementor as well. Made sites are slower, much slower. While you can optimize for that, Teed, let's be fair. Yeah, and I agree with Cloudsack here. Cloudsack. I did a Dutch thing. I'm sorry. It does look very cool and a little bit more manual, but you have if you're as experienced as I am, you do need those options. So immediately seeing your HTML tag, the type you would like to, some predefined styles, that's something that's really easy to use. But also the styling, having access to all the options is what I always miss in Elementor, and I have to go to their CSS styling and then put in a selector, because that's how you select the thing, and then add in your CSS. So this at least covers most of the CSS options you have, but I'm missing the animations, which I do have. Interactions icon is on the top bar. Oh, by the way, you were saying that the size in Elementor is much slower. It isn't always the case. If you set up a proper CDN, like Cloudflare, you optimize your images using tiny PNG, but also crop them using something like Photopea, you can get pretty good speeds actually. It isn't that slow. The only thing is when debugging, oh, that's horrible. You go over every element to see where something changed, and the debugging on where a class is put on, and that you need to be very specific to change a setting, a look and feel. It's just a horrible experience if you would like to just have an icon for a widget that is pre-made by another company. You have to dive really deep into the HTML to see how it's set, and then you have so much specificity. It's so specifically called in CSS. It's a horrible experience. CDN is so history. No, it's not. Cloud is fine. Right. I'll keep it in mind. CDN is basics. It's really basic what you need. And especially I use the combination with Cloudflare and Bunny.net, not Bunny Muffins. This just makes your website much faster. And you don't have to rely on the server just having all the assets available from one source, but from multiple sources. It will speed up significantly. So yeah, I do recommend doing that. Local stuff can be optimized. Yeah, everything can be optimized, and then Elementor is just as quick. But you were saying there's an icon in the top bar for interactions. I see he has status, class variables, pages, template settings, help, elements, reload. I see all the... Oh, this is also nice. Responsive buttons available. That looks like there's a lot of options there already. Can we do a... Can we make this the default in some way? That we can do a mobile first kind of thing. Sometimes I do that as a design as well. We have history. It's nice. Something we are used to. We have the structure, hide and unhide. Edit in WordPress, front end, preview and save. 13. Where can I find the interactions? Not anywhere. Pages. Oh, you can easily switch pages. Wow, this is a welcome change. Elementor doesn't have this. Even GreenshiftGreenshift doesn't have it because it's using full-site editing, trying to be as core as possible. I don't think full-site editing has this, right? At all. No, it doesn't. Please help me out. I don't see any place of... We need to search here for interactions. Do we have interactions in here? Where is the interactions icon? We have an icon and disable icon. Conditions. Oh, here is the interactions. You also can set conditions. Oh, this is awesome. When is something shown and when it's not. It's by default in there. You have to pay bucks. Get in Elementor. And here we have interactions. Ah, so we have a trigger element action, and then we can toggle. Can we toggle a element? Oh, you can start an animation as well. And then we go for a flash animation that is 1 second, no delay, and target itself. You can set a target. This looks a little bit like the interaction layers. That's why called interactions, I guess, right? Exactly the same as interaction layers. Woohoo! We have a flash. Awesome. And it's in there as well. That's awesome. Can we also set a kind of form submissions? You can do all kinds of things. Wow, this is awesome. Mouse enter, leave, viewports. Now we can set animations for those. If it enters viewport, we can add a class. We can add a attribute. We can't add a class, but technically it's an attribute, so we can add a class. But does it override if it has an existing class? Because I'm thinking, of course. We're thinking. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Oh no, my website isn't working. Darn it. Images aren't loading. And I was talking about CDN, and this is what happens right now. CDN isn't working. Damn it. Well, it's fine. I will look into that later. I was looking at recreating this effect if it loads, because it does need images. It doesn't do anything. All right. What are you thinking about? Thank you, brother. YouTube. We go to my YouTube channel. And we go to videos. We can create this animation. See where we can find it. And this is done with interaction layers. So I expect it to work this similar kind of way. I didn't see any way of setting a root margin. So where in the attribute, where in the viewport this will be triggered. You can set a idea. Scroll offset. That is nice. You can set the dynamic data. So I do miss the root margin settings in here. I don't know, Teet, do you know? You know the reference? Nice. Do you know if you can set a root margin, so when the interaction actually happening, if it's happening on the top side, on the middle side, or the bottom side? Because that's a flexibility I love to have. You can add a condition. If there's a storage as well, that's nice. I don't see any ways of setting other values in here. Right. I think I have my verdict. So first impression for bricks, it feels same as Elementor. And the way it looks, the way it feels, the basic things you want to use are in there, so that's nice. You are able to set general theme styles, but it's not there by default, but you need to go to settings, theme styles, and then you need to create one. But then you can just set the normal kind of things you usually do, applicable to a heading or button style settings. Create and use global colors through your own custom color palette. Now, where can I set my color palette? I want a link in here that goes to the place where I can set all of my colors, because apparently these are only for these colors. But not for all colors. So all the colors that I have available, I would like it to be there. Now this is a little bit dangerous as well. You open where you left off previously. Also very helpful. So, but yeah, it feels pretty much the same as Elementor. Of course, you need to get used to the interface and finding things. You have your theme settings available, and what I especially like about this one is has way more options for you. You can set your nav menu things, you can set your dividers, your heading by defaults. Would be nice it will be that you can set a different kind of order, because it doesn't feel like it's order in a pretty way that feels logical. You can set your default typography, your links, everything in here. So theme settings available, very good one. You have a few basic elements in there, and then you have your navigation. That's something we didn't look at this time. You have also some accordion, you have some forms available. So everything you have in Elementor is in here as well. And you have even more options available as well. So that's nice. Yeah, very interesting Elementor. And I want to use this one for a project. So I don't mind paying the amount of dollars needed to get this, because you can buy bricks for one site for $79 a year, which is pretty expensive, but you have also a full-time license. And if you see that it's $5.99 for once, and I have a $99 per month per year plan, this is actually quite affordable for what you get from it. And what I also like about bricks is way more supported than GreensHift in this point and time, because Crocoblock supported. It's supported by very big developers like Kevin Geary and WP Tots, and actually all major products plugins are trying to integrate with bricks, so they're doing a very well job of getting integrated, which also is a very poor thing that 8 years of development, Gutenberg doesn't have the amount of integration that Bricks has, which makes me very sad. Yeah, lifetime license. That's really cool. It's a high price, but I can make up for it. If I use it once, and I'm doing a client website right now, I just use it once and then it's fine, right? I like that. So there's a lot of add-ons. Yeah, but it's also the case with Elementor, right? So I know that there's a lot. You have, let's see, a brick starter site, but I don't know it by name. Start.me/bricks. I don't know if it even works. No, it doesn't work. Can we find it somewhere? Pricing, themes, about. Nope. But there's somewhere an overview of all things. So, my first impression verdict of using bricks. It is a great tool. It has the basics that Elementor needs. It's easy to use. You can just set it up. It's a little bit getting used to how things are working, to be fair. Because things work a little bit different compared to Elementor, but it works as expected if you are a front-end development. If you're coming from Elementor or using Cadence, there's a little bit discrepancy of what you're used to, but it's easy to getting used to. The flashing that we had when we wanted to add something to the builder feels a little bit of a bug. To be fair, but I had that all the time with GreensHift as well, but also with and the last fix of Gutenberg did fix it very well, if you ask me. But I also have this in Elementor, that it just jumps everywhere and that you have to research for where you have to place it. See, now it's placed somewhere. It's placed in a section, and I have a container in here. So I want it to be in the container. I don't know why it doesn't do that. It doesn't allow me to add it in the container. Now this could be just me being unable to do so and me being very special. But in Gutenberg this feels more easy to use, to do. But if there's an element in there, it's easy. You don't have to worry about it. I also like the versatility of all the things that are available in there. It can feel a little bit overwhelming, but to be fair, you have the same kind of things in Elementor as well. You have some default options that sometimes is missing. And here you have some post titles, which is only available in Elementor Pro, but you have a a very very bigger kind of things to pay. Or you can also pin certain sections. That's a really nice thing. It is also compared to GreensHift, I'm missing some animation stuff in there. It's just only the root margin. Compared to Elementor, this is quite the same, and I'm really easy getting used to. I am confident enough that people that are not used to using that are used to using Elementor can use this within no time. And you don't need to feel overwhelmed with every setting in here. It's the same kind of thing, only it has everything available, which can make you maybe be afraid, but don't be. It's all the settings you quite need. Would be nice if you can collapse even within these kind of things, that you don't feel overwhelmed with all the settings in one go. And you have default CSS if you really don't like to use the builder kind of CSS. You can use it as well. Yeah. Don't be afraid to use it like this. It's we can design everything, we can style everything, and just like you're used to. Now, I do know the Gavin Guri fans would say this is not the right way to do it. And as an experienced developer, I do agree, because now you're setting something in a default, in a idea. It's nice that it's pretty visible in here, and it isn't reusable. But yeah, who cares? If you're used to doing something in a certain way because you've done it already in Elementor, and you don't want to get used to how you should do it, who cares? Just do whatever you like, right? And the biggest advantage of using bricks, what I already see, is that you can set every default setting for elements, which is a big turnoff of Elementor. You have to copy and paste certain parts to make it a default look and feel. And for instance, so not the buttons, not the heading, not the colors, but for instance, your div padding, you need to set it every time. If you would like your divider to be a certain height, you need to change it every time. And here it's set in the theme settings, which is very nice. And this can be explored later on. You can use class first workflow, which for me is just like you're just developing it, because in development you don't have the ability to not use classes. You can use a style, but please don't do that. I see Teed Bergman also mentioning bricks motion. So let's have a look at that. This is for the remark for animations, I guess. What bricks? Oh, so these are pre-made templates. Yippee! Even more ways of buying. There's no lifetime deal, so that's a turn off. But I get it. That's a demo component. Oh, but these are nice. Nice pre-made sections. So thank you for sharing, Teed. And max add-ons. Add-ons. 4 bricks. Yeah, I also have seen something called Advanced Beamer. Oh, it's also nice. It's actually just an overlay, right? Max add-ons. Oh, I also saw this coming by once. How much is this? Well, there's a lot of add-ons, so it's a great thing to see that it is supported much better than GreensHift, to be fair. but you will get FOMO and the price will go up very quickly if you would like to add a add-on like Bricks Motion, like Bricks Forge, like ACSS, like Get Frames, or like Core Framework and Brixies. You get into thousands of dollars for lifetime deals just to get them working together. So it's on you if you can afford it, and secondly, if it makes sense to use it. But the overall first impression of Bricks is actually very good. I don't mind the interface as much as I was thinking I would. It's easy on the eyes and easy to use. And we're going to give it a spin next time as well. I think I'm going to play around with converting converting the career page to Bricks. So client, if you're watching, because you yesterday said you would would most likely do, I'm going to convert the website to using Bricks instead of GreenShift, and let's experience how this goes. If you make work for clients, it's only when you're a bit of your income. Yeah, it's only a bit of your income. I agree. So it depends. Like just purchasing bricks is already half of the income I have for this client I'm working for right now. But yeah, it's now also a side project and a hobby project. So yeah, if this makes me money in the long run, it's fine. It gets exponentially cheaper, right? Every time. So this is my first experience and impression of Bricks, and 10 out of 10 would recommend. Kevin Geary, if you have seen this, I hope you didn't cringe too much. With me setting things on idea level. Ooh, this is a nice tiling. Let's throw in another ugly color in there. So this is a very nice color combination, right? Cloud sack, cloud. Yeah, that's actually it. Now, if you would like to see how I am going to do the rest and merge, go from the career pages kind of thing to Bricks, I will do the some pages I will do just instantly, and the because I want it to be up and running very soon. But I will show how I set up JetEngine and how I want to explore that one using JetEngine, using Bricks, and see how it works together on a environment like this one. So yeah, if you would like to see me create a job listings website, subscribe, and if you like this live stream, please give it a like. Would be very welcome, and I know that I need to create more of these kinds of live streams. Thank you all for watching, and catch you on the next one. Keep designing. I have to awkwardly press the end broadcast button, so